What's up, folks? I'm Private Hudson, and this is Iesabel. Yes, Iesabel with an I, not Jezebel with a J, for some sort of reason. And this is one of the worst, if not the actual worst, Diablo-style action RPG that I've ever played. When I say that, I refer to real, legitimate games, not garbage Unity asset flips that pervade the Steam store. People created this with their own art, their own assets, and their own story. This wasn't something that some Bulgarian cobbled up using some personal edition of Unity along with generic assets that he purchased using the money he earned from selling his cow, you know what I mean? This game and I go way back. Iesabel was originally a mobile game for iOS and Android. Steam version came out in 2013. Now I have no idea how the mobile version is like because it's no longer available. Who knows, maybe someone out there has an old iPad with this game still installed on it and can let me know how it plays. I bought this game in a bundle for $5 back in 2014. So did my buddy, as our goal was to play together in multiplayer. This was in a Hidden Gems bundle, sold by Blink Bundle. Spoiler alert, none of the games here were hidden gems. One of the games on this list, Vox, was an already abandoned early access title at the time this bundle came out, and is no longer available for sale. Blink Bundle is also no longer around. Needless to say, multiplayer in this game did not work. My buddy and I tried just about everything, including Hamachi, but nothing worked. The Steam forums were full of complaints. I even sent an email to the developers in March 2014, to which they never replied to. They did post a public announcement on November 2014 saying that they're working on a fix, which should be out in 2 months. But hey, single player works and you can slash monsters in it. Did that fix ever come out? Nope. All they did was remove the multiplayer tag from the store page. However, they still left the multiplayer option in the main menu and kept all the multiplayer-only achievements. Brilliant. Amazing. Play a 5-player game? Good luck trying to get that one. Hell, the store page on Gamersgate, who sell a Steam key for this game, was never updated, and it still to this day advertises not only multiplayer up to 8 people, but also cross-platform multiplayer with Android and iOS. I did try playing this solo, since I couldn't play multiplayer back in 2014, but I quickly stopped because the game was terrible. For some unexplainable reason, now in 2022, I decided to reinstall it and give it another shot, because I kind of forgot what made this game so terrible. So what's Iesabel about? That's hard to say. The UI, font selection, and font color is just absolutely atrocious. It makes half the dialogue impossible to read. And when you can read it, you get some dumbass gibberish shit because the game is full of broken English. Here, my quest is to give the sarcophagus an exam, I guess? I don't know. The third, wisest of them all, was the wisest. Oh, was he now? My chest armor is an epic poor breastplate. Brilliant. Chase that foul mood away. Yes, spanking is the thing. Be careful, spanking might be bad for you. Or this letter. Greetings. Let's meet on the other side of the mirror. I invite you to my house. From what little I understood, you wake up in a broken down carriage, surrounded by corpses, and of course your character has amnesia. You find a shaman who is an asshole to you and keeps calling you evil. You eventually prove to him that you're not evil, and then something gets explained about there being multiple parallel universes or dimensions or something that monsters can go through using mirrors or something like that. But basically, Iesabel has seduced some prince or king and has started erecting statues of Baal everywhere, kinda like in the Bible. Now there's monsters everywhere and you have to find her and kill her. There are 2 character classes available, the Witch and the Barbarian. When I play these types of games, I usually pick an archer or a rogue type of character. Melee tanks and spellcasters do not interest me, but I decided to go with the Witch since she has a summoning skill. About 30 minutes in, I remembered why I quit playing it back in 2014. The Witch's summons stand still and don't do anything until you start face tanking an enemy. But the bigger problem here is that your character doesn't actually attack the things you click on half the time. I'm clicking on the enemy here, but my character is shooting the blank area in front of her. This happens all the time as the witch. Even when it comes to environmental objects like breaking barrels, she doesn't directly focus them. There is an option in the settings where you can toggle between auto and manual aiming, but that doesn't do anything. If you take a look at the controls, your primary attack is actually mapped to the keyboard, to the S key, not the left mouse button. You cannot rebind it to the left mouse button, even though the left mouse button still attacks. I suspect that the mouse controls here are simply emulating touch controls very poorly. You frequently get stuck on terrain that in other games your character would just walk around. Honestly, that's why I'm curious as to how the mobile version plays. So yeah, you have two characters, one of which isn't even playable. So yeah, that's basically why I stopped playing in 2014, because it was just unplayable. But now in 2022, I decided to go through this entire game as the Barbarian class. I suspected this game was developed by some Slavs. Hell, the first village is called Slava Village. And the voice acting.
I need a key. I need a key. I need a key. This place stinks like hell.
So, I named my barbarian Gregors, after the legendary Gregors Brinčićević, because this is a clown game, developed by clown people, so it's only fitting that a clown is the main character. Even as the melee barbarian, the aiming and targeting issues were still there. Gregors, like the doofus he is, was swinging at the air in front of him while his ass is getting chewed up by wolves. So I ended up rebinding all of the controls in this game. Again, here's how the default ones look like. Your entire skill bar, which includes things like potions and town portal scrolls, are all mapped to the number row of your keyboard. Other than I for inventory, none of the quick access shortcuts make sense. So I remapped everything. Skills became QWER, potions became 1 through 4, character sheet became C, skills became K, quest log became L. You get the point. Stuff that actually makes sense. And I stopped using my left click to auto attack. Instead, I was using the S key on the keyboard. I had to face the enemy in order to attack them so that I didn't swing at, just empty air. But as long as I did that, I was actually able to play the game. It still wasn't a good experience. The Barbarian is super slow compared to the Witch, and even though there's a movement speed stat on your character sheet, there are no items that actually increase it. Enemies and zones respawn as if this was some kind of MMO, and your map gets reset if you re-enter places, even though there is no random generation in this game. The layout is always the same. Despite all my workarounds, the game was still a buggy mess. I tried using the Barbarian's Leap ability to speed up traversing the map. All it ended up doing was getting me stuck and killed. Chests drop items in locations where you can't even pick the items up. And the shopping and inventory managing experience, my god. First of all, why are items for the Witch class dropping for me? There is no shared stash in this game. There's no stash period. I can't actually move any of these items to a different character. To get the actual stats of an item that's in your inventory, you need to click on an empty space first and then either hover over or click on the item and then double click on it to equip it, although that doesn't always work. It's really, really janky and buggy. When selling to a merchant, you can't right click or shift click. You must drag the item to the red square every single time. And of course, there's a separate merchant for weapons, for armor, for potions, for crafting materials. Boy, get used to this dragging. Isn't this fun? The itemization is also a mess. Legendary items improve your character's base stats by a percentage, but if I come across an item that has, for example, 50 more armor compared to my current item, but my current legendary item has 15% bonus to my defense stat, do I switch? Do I keep using the old one? Which one is better? I don't know. The data isn't there. When you're equipping items while your character sheet is open, the sheet doesn't even update in real time to reflect the changes. You have to close the sheet and then reopen it. It's ridiculous. Out of the 6 stats that are in the game, I was mostly pumping points into strength and then some into either defense or luck. I really couldn't tell which one was better because so many of these stats overlap with one another. Defense improves vitality. Well, so does strength. Defense also improves your physical protection and evasion chance. Well, so does luck. Dexterity improves physical attack, critique, and evasion. Hey, guess what? So does luck. So what do I put points into? Who knows? Luck sounds better than either dex or defense, and it gives me magic find along with special action, whatever the hell that's supposed to be. I also love the fact that instead of writing critical chance, they wrote critique. Brilliant. Critique, physical critique, spirit critique, shitty game critique. Then we get skills. There are 3 trees: class, ethnic, and alchemy. Why is it called ethnic? Are barbarians an ethnic group now? Really should have just been called passives, since that tree offers basically vitality and bonuses to armor. The class tree is where your active skills are. I had 5, but I mainly used 3. I had a leap, a shout that did damage, another shout that caused fear, some sort of dash attack, and your typical whirlwind. As for how much damage these skills did, or how much mana or stamina they cost, I had no idea because, of course, you have text on top of images. Were the people who designed this as blind as they were stupid? Finally, the alchemy tree is for crafting, which I never put any points into. What the hell is the point of crafting potions or town portal scrolls or identify scrolls when they drop all the time, and if I run out, I can just go to a merchant and buy them? The best part is that crafting can also fail. By putting in 1 point, you unlock the recipe, and a 17% chance that you'll be successful when crafting. Why on earth would anyone waste their points in this crap? I also ended up going with a 2-handed weapon simply because the damage on these were triple that of single-handed. Yes, single-handed with a shield is faster and offers more survivability, but I ended up just leaping in and shouting in the beginning of the game, which killed just about everything. Until I ran into a boss that I couldn't cast the leap ability on. Brilliant. There were several other bosses that I also couldn't cast the leap ability on. So for the remainder of the game, I mostly used the dash attack and whirlwind while just chugging potions. For some sort of reason, each new area that you enter is significantly tougher than the previous one. You go down pretty quickly when enemies attack you, and it doesn't help that there's no visual indication that you're getting hit, that your health bar blends in with the environment most of the time, and that the numbers on your health and mana bars are reversed. Every single RPG that I played, the number on the right, after the slash, is the maximum, whereas the number on the left is your current. Here, it's the opposite for some sort of reason. Thankfully, there isn't much of a penalty for dying, and you do carry an amulet that allows you to respawn right there on the spot. It has limited uses, but you do come across refills every now and then. You also level up pretty quickly in new environments, so as long as you survive for a bit, kill a few enemies, you'll gain like 3 to 4 levels, and you'll no longer have to worry about survivability. So yeah, I don't know what else to say. Iesabel definitely did not get better as I got further in. The boss fights were all laughably bad and broken, but despite the bugs, the controls, and all the other issues that I experienced, I was able to finish the game. What did I get for it? Well, I unlocked the next difficulty. You guys think replaying this on a harder difficulty will be a better experience? I also got to see the credits, which made me smile. Why? Just take a look. Yes, that's right. This was developed by a couple of Gregors, Polish people. I knew this was some Slavic jank, and I couldn't believe that I guessed the ethnic group responsible for this correctly by naming my character Gregors. Granted, I did spell it incorrectly, and for that I apologize. I'm not a master of the Polish Z's and C's, but yeah, seeing the credits was honestly the best part of the game. Iesabel took me around, I would say 10 to 12 hours to beat, but because of how boring, buggy, and awful it is, this was spread over the course of 3 to 4 months. I honestly couldn't put more than like 30 minutes a day into this. Somehow, they had the gall to charge $15 for this at launch. Absolute highway robbery. The price since then has been reduced to $5. Nowadays, it frequently goes on sale for 50 cents, and you can probably find it in a cheap bundle along with a bunch of other shitty awful games for $1 or $2. It still isn't worth it. It's a bad, buggy game with no redeemable qualities. The only positive thing I can say about it is the song that's played in the credits, which is the same song that's played in Slava Village, is pretty good. Honestly, I'm surprised that this game is still allowed to be sold. Anyways, I'm Private Hudson, and this is the end of this review. If you've enjoyed this video and want to see more content like this, please be sure to hit the like button and subscribe to this channel. What will I review next? Will it be yet another shitty action RPG? Well, I guess there's only one way to find out. I'll see you folks next time.